Welcome to Seaway Whiskey Wire. Tonight at the bar, we've got the Bushmills Original Irish Whiskey. Stay tuned. Well, hey guys, thanks for coming back after the intro. I'm Tyler, and we are still in Irish Whiskey Month, so I thought we would take a look at an absolute classic in the Bushmills Original Irish Whiskey. But before we get into the overview of Bushmills and this particular expression from Bushmills, if you got yourself anything from Bushmills, if you got yourself some Irish whiskey, you want to pour yourself a dram and drink along with me, please do so. I encourage it. It makes life a heck of a lot better for you guys on the other end, and I enjoy you guys drinking along with me, especially during Irish Whiskey Month. So before we get into the overview of the Bushmills Original Irish Whiskey, let's take a look back at the history of the Bushmills Distillery. So the Bushmills Distillery is located in Northern Ireland and is noted as being one of the world's oldest distilleries. And history dates Bushmills back to 1608 when King James granted the license to distill in the area. However, Old Bushmills Distillery itself was officially established in 1784. Throughout its long history, the distilleries faced challenges including fires, economic downturn, but it has remained a significant player in the Irish whiskey production market. And during the American Prohibition from 1920 to 1933, Bushmills continued to operate by exporting whiskey for medicinal purposes. And Bushmills is known for its smooth, triple-distilled single malts and its blended whiskeys, and its legacy of craftsmanship continues to make it a respected name in the world whiskey marketplace today. And guys, that's this is where it all kind of started, I guess, for Bushmills, is the original release here, and we're going to take a look at it there. We'll get into the overview of the Bushmills Original Whiskey here. Very much part of their core range, the entry level of their core range. And it comes in triple distilled, as all Bushmills do, or at least the ones in their primary core range do. It comes in with an ABV stamp of 40% ABV. Chill filtering, and I imagine there's probably color added there to give it a little bit of there. The website does state on the website that it is aged for 5 years in bourbon and ex-sherry casks, and the makeup is about 50% grain whiskey and 50% malted barley. So we'll get into the presentation now after we've seen the overview of it here. Presentation-wise, pretty classic Bushmills bottle. This is where it all started here. I do like the look of the bottle. I gave the gripe to the Black Bush last week. I'm going to do the same thing again to the Bushmills Original. There's just not enough information on here. I wish they had a little bit more information. It does mention that it is the world's oldest distillery, or oldest licensed distiller in the world. It mentions the cask makeup on the back a little bit there, but doesn't mention anything about the age or the makeup of the malt being 50% malt and 50% grain, or the mash bill, I should say. Maybe that's more for the enthusiasts, but you know what? For what it's worth, spend the 2 cents or less for ink and put it on the packaging. I think you'd be a welcome addition to it there for sure. They don't mention anything about tasting notes either, just that it's very smooth and whatnot. But anyways, let's get into the pour. We know that there's probably some color added to it here. It's a twist top for this one too, in case you didn't notice that. We'll give it a little pour. And we'll take a look at the liquid in the bottle. And again, there is probably coloring added to this, guys, but I still like to bring it in to show you what you're dealing with. So we're going nice and tight. It's got a nice light straw color there going on, almost like a apple juice or apple cider vinegar kind of bit to it. Again, bourbon cask and sherry cask influences, but I imagine for the sake of mass production and whatnot, they have added E1 coloring to this. And you know what? At a budget dram, 40% entry level, I think it's to be expected at this point. Yeah. All right. Still an Irish Whiskey Month here. You guys saw the hat at the start of the video. Mrs. Seaway created this nice little green shirt to celebrate St. Paddy's Day and celebrate Irish Whiskey Month here on Seaway Whiskey Wire. So let's get in the nose on the Bushmills Original Irish Whiskey and see what we can get out of the nose. Let's get into it. So at 40%, it's a pretty fresh and fruity nose, very vibrant, but it's not explosive. It's not singeing. There's no kind of edge to it there, even with the grain whiskey being a higher percentage there, that 50% grain whiskey used. And the low age stamp of 5 years aged in ex-bourbon, ex-sherry. So right off the bat, I'm getting loads of vanilla. Loads and loads and loads of vanilla. Vanilla ice cream, whipped cream. I'm getting some honey on there. Some green apples, Granny Smith apples. I get some orange zest, not orange juice, but like the zest of an orange on there. And the back end is kind of this little bit of shortbread cookie. Yeah, but very sweet nose. Very fresh and very, very vibrant. Almost a touch of floral on there too, I will say. yeah. Well, not bad for an entry level 40%er. But let's get into the taste and see what this Irish classic can deliver. So, cheers to your health, and let's get into it. Happy Irish Whiskey Month, guys. First off, like as far as mouth coating and everything like that, very thin liquid, and to be expected, I guess. But not a whole lot happening here on the palate. It does match the nose to a degree. I'm not getting those vanilla sweetness that I got on the other one there. Like I am getting some vanilla, but it's kind of more muted. First off, I'm getting a prominent dose of green apple, some nice fresh green apples, and then I'm getting into that honey. And then there's a bit of lemon on there too, citrus, but it's more lemon than it is lime, but very much lemon. I'm gonna go for one more sip. Very easy drinking. Yeah, so after that citrus, now I'm getting into the vanilla component there of it. And then at the back end, a little off-putting. There's a bit of a metallic note going on there. Maybe a bit of some bitter oak, some casks. We don't know the quality of the casks, being that it's a product of mass production here. I would assume they're fairly used and lower quality casks that they're using there, very tired casks, I guess I should say. But there's still a bit of flavor in there. It's just that back end component. So I mean, again, it's more apples on the front and that honey sweetness, and then you're getting into that lemon, and then the vanilla hits you with a punch. The vanilla is just vanilla cream, and then this weird kind of this artificial metallic note, and then into this kind of like just a bitter oak kind of flavor to it. But you know what? Let's get into the finish and see if anything else is out there for the Bushmills Irish Whiskey, the original Bushmills Irish Whiskey for that matter. So I'm gonna go for one more sip and let you guys know what I think of the finish. Okay, so finish-wise, not a whole lot going on. Very short finish. It's there. It goes through the very quick layers of that apple and that honey and the vanilla and the citrus and whatnot, and that bitter component, but it washes away very quickly. Very thin liquid. Very classic Irish profile, I will say. Up against something like a Jameson's or whatnot, that's what you're kind of paying for with this, and I think you're getting that. You're getting that classic Irish piece there. Very easy sipping, great for cocktails. I use this in cocktails quite a bit that call for Irish whiskey, just because it is so approachable and well-rounded in that matter. But it's for something to sip, I think I would probably pass on it. If you're looking for a good Irish whiskey to go in for some cocktails, I think this is kind of where you need to go for that. And I think that's more what it's designed for, as opposed to sipping here. But I wanted to make sure we carved out some time to go through the profile of it, just in case somebody is looking for, not to just sip this, but just to understand kind of the componentry and the character on the profile of the Bushmills Original Irish Whiskey. But you know what? I don't want to knock it too much on that finish and taste and nose profile. Again, it's kind of more of an entry level, more for cocktails and whatnot. So let's get on the value proposition, because this is kind of where I think it's well positioned. So the Bushmills Original Irish Whiskey at the LCBO comes in at $37. And I think at $37, it's perfectly positioned. It's a little bit cheaper than a Jameson's, but it's a great spot for entry into Irish whiskey. Great price point, great mixer, great for cocktails. You want to have a Ryan ginger. You want to have Irish whiskey and ginger ale. This is a great one for it if you want to make an Irish old fashioned. Irish cola cocktail. I did that last year with the Bushmills. You want to make an Irish coffee. I think it's great for stuff like that. For sipping and stuff like that, I think I would probably, I would gravitate more towards the Black Bush. The Black Bush would be the one I would want to go to for that. Or you can even go to the 10-year-old single malt or the 12-year-old single malt, which are also very well received from Bushmills too. But you know what? You get that same kind of character, that Irish character to it, the triple distilled, the fresh fruits, that little bit of maybe floral in there as well. But then you get that nice citrus, those apples. And in this case here, loads and loads and loads of vanilla on the nose. So yeah, that's my review of the Bushmills Original Irish Whiskey. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. I'm going to be using it here in a cocktail very, very shortly. And if you like what we're doing here at Seaway Whiskey Wire, you guys know that drill. Like and subscribe down below. And hey, don't forget to check me out on Instagram at Seaway Whiskey Wire for more content. And if you guys are still hanging around this long into the video after I wore the hat and went through the profile and taste and whatnot of this Bushmills Original, thank you very much. Really appreciate it, guys. Love doing this little gig down here in the basement, coming down after a hard day of work, as I always say, and get to shoot out some great whiskey with you guys and share some some classic Irish during the month of March. So yeah, I'll leave you with that, guys. All the best. Take care, and I'll see you around. Bye for now, guys.